All right, what's up? What's up, America? We live 12:07 a.m. in the morning, man. It's my birthday, so y'all can wish me happy birthday if y'all want. If not, I don't really care. But it's your boy J Nev. I got my main man from Uneducated Sports Talk. My man Carlos Clayton. Y'all ain't heard from him in a while, but we had some breaking news tonight, man. We just couldn't let it slide by, man. If y'all hadn't heard by now, Kyrie Irving has been traded to the Boston Celtics for Jay Crowder and Isaiah Thomas, primarily in a first round pick, and the other guy, Zarchich or whatever his name is. I don't know too much about him.
Some guys we don't know about.
Yeah, but he's supposed to be good. That's what they say. So, first up, Carlos, man. So, why all of a sudden has Boston, decided they want to trade for Kyrie? Because they seem reluctant to give up that pick. So, that's kind of caught everybody surprised. So, first of all, tell me your initial reaction to the trade, and then tell me why you think all of a sudden they decided to go after Kyrie and, give up Isaiah Thomas.
Well, first of all, I want to say it's an honor and a privilege to be back on the show again. It's been a long time, so what I'm saying. I'm happy to be back on the Last Word podcast once again, because I'm home away from home.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
No doubt. My initial reaction, I wasn't quite stunned, but I had a feeling when we talked on Independent Red, which is on our Uneducated network, when we talked about that, we said that, and I got the news from you about the whole trade thing going down with Kyrie and the Suns and Paul George and the Cavs, and Dan Gilbert went to LeBron about, if we get a commitment from you guys, we can make this trade go down like now. And then Kyrie hearing about it and getting upset. Well, that we kind of call that the straw that broke the camel's back, the last straw. And I kind of had a feeling something in the next couple of days was going down. This was we did the show yesterday, and we had a feeling that something was going down. So my initial reaction was, wow, the Celtics. The reason why the Celtics were on my radar was because, these guys are their biggest challenge. For last year, which wasn't much of a challenge, but for this year, for sure, was their biggest challenge. The one thing my first thought was, this was not a let's help out LeBron move. This was a let's help out Cleveland, the organization move. So you trade Kyrie for Isaiah Thomas, basically, and I feel as if both teams knew what they were doing. Now, the picks from the Celtics, we all know that Danny Ainge has been keeping those draft picks with him for a while now. He's had opportunity with Jimmy Butler, had opportunity with Paul George, but I think he really felt like Kyrie is a superstar, and they do get Kyrie for this year and for next year. So at the worst, he leaves you in 3 years. So Kyrie's a superstar in his opinion. In my opinion, I think he's a top 10 player, and a much better player than Isaiah Thomas. So I think that he felt like that 2018 Nets pick was the last thing, because the deal they've been talking for a whole week now. We did not know that, but of course when it came out, they've been talking this whole deal, but minus the draft pick. And Cleveland was saying, look, we want either Jason Tatum, or we want maybe even Jaylen Brown, or we want that pick. Either that pick or that Lakers pick that you guys got. Well, the Lakers pick for next year, for the Celtics, that's an automatic top 5 pick. They say, you know what? We don't want to get rid of that pick, the Lakers pick. So Danny Ainge sat back and said, you know what? There's no telling what the Nets will do this year, the Brooklyn Nets, because that 2018 pick is unprotected. So that means we don't know if the Nets will be as bad as the top 3 pick, or they'll be, high lottery, or even forbid in the bad East, make the playoffs. So at the end, I think he kind of told himself, we can get rid of that pick. And the Cavaliers are hoping and praying and wishing that the Brooklyn Nets next year this season are just horrible, to where they can get a top 5 pick. And I think it works out for both teams, because on Cleveland's side, what happens is, okay, you trade for Isaiah Thomas, and he will be an unrestricted free agent. But he came out last year saying He's not going for that BS money. He's going for max dollars. He turned to the Celtics. The Celtics probably felt like he is a max player kind of guy for them, I might say. But so, worst case scenario for the Cavaliers, if LeBron James does leave, you help yourself out by maybe retaining Isaiah Thomas by giving the max. And I don't think that he's a guy that you build around, but they're going to try and build around Isaiah Thomas, and hopefully that 2018 Nets pick could be a top 5 pick, because rumors are this year's draft coming up is as deep as last year's draft we just had. So, in my opinion, I think both teams got a good deal. They both know what they're doing, and that's why you won the draft. In the trade, that both teams know what they're doing.
I got you, man. I ain't even gonna lie, man. I was pretty surprised to see him get traded, at this particular junction. I thought if you would get traded, it would be later on, towards the trade deadline or something like that. I definitely thought that, Cleveland would try to keep it all together, being that they've been to 3 straight finals, and they wasn't going to try to kind of force to, try to reorganize a new nucleus in hopes to keep, LeBron James from leaving. And we'll get to LeBron in a second. Obviously, this has a lot to do with LeBron. At some point we were joking about it earlier that everything revolves around LeBron and Cleveland in some sort of a way. So I thought that maybe they would try to keep the band together and make one more run at it with, kind of butter Kyrie up. But clearly that didn't happen. But I agree with everything you said, man. I think, Boston played the cards right. They did have all those assets that we always talked about, all those little shiny toys. And, finally one of them has paid off, and they were able to swoop and get Kyrie Irving and not lose too much, in the process. I think in the long run, I think it's a pretty good deal for both sides. I can't say that one side has a better, got a better, deal. I guess you could argue that Cleveland did because they got more people and they did get a draft pick just in case, LeBron James does leave. But at the same time, Boston did get Kyrie Irving, who now is a champion. He hit a big shot against the Warriors. That's one of those things that you can't really see in the stat sheet, but that's one of those things that, that could pay dividends for Boston in the playoffs, or, at some point, in the season. So they're getting a lot of experience there. We know the guy's a gifted scorer, so they're really not losing too much in the scoring department. They did get Gordon Hayward. We have yet to see how they're going to use him, but all in all, I think is a good both teams made it out of this deal pretty good. Now, with that being said, though, how do you think this changes the landscape of the East, the Eastern Conference? Do you think this gives Boston? Does that make them the prohibitive favorite to take out Cleveland, or do you feel like Cleveland is still the team to beat?
I still think Cleveland is still the team to beat, only because LeBron James on there. But we all knew that Boston and Cleveland were probably 1 and 2 last year, this season that just passed. But the difference between them overall was a huge gap. You knew that Cleveland was by far the best team, even though Boston was probably the second best team. Cleveland by far was way better than them. But now, with the whole revamped lineup for the Celtics, by getting Kyrie, by getting Gordon Hayward, by getting Jason Tatum, who might be the best player out of that stacked draft that just came up. He might just be the best player, better than Lonzo and better than Markelle Fultz. It's yet to be seen there, but you add those pieces in, then you get a Jaylen Brown who's, he's had a couple years now in the NBA. He knows what to do now. So you add that in, and I still think that Cleveland's a little bit better. But here's the thing, Nev. Cleveland cannot sleep this year. They cannot sleep. They can't sleep. They can't take any healthy rest anymore, healthy breaks, because if they mess around and give this Boston team home court advantage, that series is going to Boston. It is.
I agree. I feel you.
Yeah, and for the non-casual NBA fans who are out there saying, man, well, Kyrie and Isaiah Thomas are basically the same player. No, pump your brakes. They're not. Kyrie is a much better player than Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas was in a free-flowing offense that shot a lot. Kyrie Irving was kind of set back by LeBron James. Kyrie can easily score 30 points per game in his sleep if he wanted to. Kyrie is a much better player, and when he puts his mind to it, he is a much better defender than Isaiah Thomas will ever be. And Isaiah Thomas, now both guys are, injury prone, but I believe that Isaiah Thomas being 5'9", I believe he's 5'7" in real life, to be honest. His height. I think just being that small in the NBA, you're going to get your bumps and your bruises. And then, he just came off a hip surgery, so we don't even know how he's really going to be because he hasn't even played on a court this whole NBA offseason. So you don't know how it's going to turn out. But I still think Cleveland is the best team right now just because of LeBron James. But they cannot sleep on the Celtics team because the Celtics team, if they do get home court or even facing the playoffs against each other, I really see the Celtics giving them a challenge. And if they have home court, I see the Celtics actually winning that series. It's going to be interesting, man. And they play October 17th, the first game of the season. So it's going to be crazy, man.
I got you, man. It will be, to me, it'll be interesting to see how both teams incorporate the new pieces. First of all, I'll say that I believe whoever gets the home court will win the series, in my opinion. And that's as of right now until I see how they incorporate the new pieces. But I think it'll be interesting because Cleveland, for all the not having enough talent, for the people who argued that they didn't really, especially with Kevin Durant going to Golden State, that they didn't have enough to beat those guys. What they did have was continuity, and making 3 straight finals, with a big three like they had is very monumental, into making it a 4th time. And losing a piece like Kyrie, who was such a big part of what they done. I know they have LeBron, but it'll be interesting to see how they incorporate Isaiah Thomas or a Jay Crowder, even though he'll be more of a role player. Because like you said, Kyrie and Isaiah, they may look similar, but Kyrie done so much, for them offensively, and Isaiah Thomas can score too, but he's a lot smaller, and Kyrie was, a lot of the times, man, he just was finishing in traffic like crazy, doing some, Harlem Globetrotter type stuff, and he a little shorter, he can't really do all of that, so it'll be interesting to see. Now they both can shoot it from the outside a little bit, but Kyrie is a little bit more creative with his shot because he's a little taller, and so he's a wizard with the ball. But it'll be interesting to see how, they incorporate Isaiah in the Cleveland offense. Also, LeBron likes to dominate the ball. Isaiah Thomas hadn't played with anybody like that. So it'll be interesting to see how they use him off the ball. Now, on the flip side, you got Kyrie going to Boston, a guy who liked to, do his thing. But now you got, Brad Stevens, who's more of a system kind of guy, and you also incorporate another new guy by the name of Gordon Hayward. He doesn't need the ball as much and doesn't dominate it as much. But it'll be interesting to see how much, isolation they'll run, because they did run isolation with IT, but they were at their best when they got everybody involved. Especially, I don't know if you remember that game, that one game they did beat Cleveland. It was because the Avery Bradleys and the Jay Crowders and the Marcus Smart stepped up. Not IT wasn't even in that game. Now that I think about it,
you're right.
So it'll be interesting to see how they fit Kyrie into that offense. I do think they'll give him time to do his thing every now and then to boogie on somebody. But just how much they're going to do that with Gordon Hayward there, not to mention, the rookie Tatum, who looked pretty impressive in the summer league as well. I know it's just a summer league, but he looked like he can flat out ball too. So, and also how much, they have lost without, Avery Bradley. I really wish they would have kept Avery Bradley, man. I think, man, if they had him right now, I ain't gonna even lie, I probably would make Boston, the straight up favorite to take out Cleveland. But right now I'm looking at it and I'm gonna show Braun respect. Cleveland got Braun. Usually the team that got Braun in the East is the team that make the finals. So I think but I'll stick with whoever gets the home court for now. I think that's who had the edge in the series for now, until I see some basketball film. You know me, man, I like to watch film. So I gotta see some footage first, and lo and behold, I won't have to wait too long to get film on both of them. They'll be playing each other, opening night.
No, you're right. You think LeBron you think you would rather Kyrie Irving over Isaiah Thomas, correct?
Yeah, I do think from a basketball perspective. Now we don't really know all the off the court stuff that happened between two, but I think from a basketball perspective, he definitely at this stage would rather Kyrie, because Kyrie is proven, tried, tested, and proven. IT. Not to say he can't ball or nothing, but he ain't been in no finals yet. So when you make it to that finals, it's a whole different ball game. However, I will say this. I meant to mention this earlier to you, but I guess we can talk about it a little bit because we're gonna get into how this affect LeBron, altogether. But I don't think both teams are done making deals either.
Really?
Because especially Cleveland, maybe Boston might shut it down just a little bit because they got Kyrie now, and
kind of a big splash.
Yeah, that was a big splash. But Cleveland, especially with the LeBron factor, they may or may not be done because in the back of their minds they know there's a chance LeBron could walk, and then where there's always the human nature to want to prevent that. It's kind of like you got a girl that may be on the fence. You don't want to just see her walk and go to somebody else. You gonna kind of fight a little bit if you care about it. You know what I'm saying? Not to make this a love connection hotline or anything like that. But I was just using that to make a point. But so speaking of which, obviously we know Cleveland is really LeBron land. How much do you think this trade had to do with his intentions of staying in Cleveland or opting out of his contract come next offseason?
It's huge. Like I said from the beginning, I think this was a trade that wasn't to help LeBron, because obviously it doesn't help LeBron this year. I mean, your goal is to beat the Warriors or whatever dominating team from the West comes out. That's your goal. And this trading Kyrie for Isaiah, that's basically what it is Kyrie for Isaiah. Now, you have Jay Crowder, who's a pretty good defensive player who can help out in the rotation. But I think he's a slightly better version of Richard Jefferson, to be honest. But you trade those two guys and you kind of downgrade in that position. So this is a move based on them thinking if LeBron leaves. Now, like you said, they have more moves to be done, maybe. And so now we're talking back to Kevin Love again, because Kevin Love can easily be a trade target as well for maybe draft picks. If they go that route, this is basically them saying, LeBron, you're playing games with us. If that's the case, we're going to make moves for ourselves. We're not going to sit back and just let you ruin us again. So I would not be surprised if they move Love for draft picks, and then the Cavaliers have this, they don't really have a good year after that. I would not be surprised, like you said, trades will be done, because I think they're not benefiting LeBron anymore. This huge trade, they're saying, LeBron, we're not focusing on you helping us out. We're focusing on ourselves helping this organization out, because LeBron can easily leave next year and leave them with nothing. So they're saying we're going to make moves to stay relevant this year and to hopefully get back to the finals, but it won't be good enough to beat whoever we meet in the finals, and we know that. But at the same time, we want to stay relevant next year as well, too, to get a decent draft pick, hopefully get a top 5 pick or a top 10 pick at the least for the Brooklyn Nets. So I think that they're not focusing on LeBron's staying. They're more worried about if LeBron leaves.
Funny you mentioned Kevin Love, because you took the name right out of my mouth. I went to thinking right after this trade, if Cleveland, either way, I think Cleveland benefit. One thing, the best thing that came out of trading Kyrie away was getting his money off the books. Because you got to think about it this way. IT finna be a free agent anyway. Kyrie had 2 years left. Let's assume LeBron does walk, which I do think he will, and I'll get into more of that in a second. You got his money off the books. You got Kyrie/IT money off the books, but you still got Kevin Love money on the books. Well, what if they traded for a one named Carmelo Anthony, who's also due for an opt-out in the next season? Now you got rid of that contract. You got one of LeBron buddies. There are rumors that D-Wade may be coming to Cleveland as well. Now you got a team that LeBron does like, So you may have a chance to get him, to stay. However, if they don't stay, which I wouldn't stay in Cleveland, to be honest. If I was LeBron, Carmelo, D-Wade, or IT, now you got all of that money off the books, and you got a first-round draft pick still. And I'm not even talking about any, pieces that may get thrown in a potential Carmelo Anthony deal. That could be a 3-way trade. It could be a 4-way trade. It could be a straight-up trade. I was just, throwing Carmelo Anthony because he is, one of Braun boys. And, and that's also a sneaky, clever way to get Kevin Love money off the books as well. And in any event LeBron walks, IT probably walks, Carmelo definitely walking,
Right.
You got all of that money that you was over the salary cap with off the books, and you can still start fresh, and you still got your first round from Boston / the Nets, which will probably be a terrific first round pick, by the way. I might throw that in there.
Right.
So I think about it, that Cleveland, like you said, they got all the cards, man. They tired of dealing with Braun and his foolishness. They gonna start thinking about themselves now, and what better way than to start getting some of this excess fat off the books. That way you won't be in the luxury tax, and that way you can be more, mobile in the free agent marketing, and the trade marketing. And of course, you can always use the draft to get better when you get some picks.
Here's the problem for Cleveland. If LeBron is gone, Kyrie is gone, they have all this money on the books. They've been there before. Their problem is, when LeBron leaves, they're going to be horrible, and they have to focus on draft picks, and hopefully they get them right. The first time it happened, let's be honest, they didn't get it right with Anthony Bennett. Now, it's a new cast. David Griffin isn't there. He wasn't there for the Anthony Bennett pickup. But they live in Cleveland. That's the problem right there. If you can't get any superstar free agents to go to Cleveland when LeBron is there, I don't think no one's going there when LeBron is not there. That's the problem. So they have to focus on the draft picks if LeBron does leave. And you only have that one draft pick and maybe sign Isaiah Thomas. That's their best bet. But I do like what you say, though, with now the Kyrie Irving's off the book, and Isaiah Thomas is only still making, I think, $6 million, right, for this year?
Right.
Yeah, 6.29. So maybe you can get a Carmelo Anthony for Kevin Love for a 1-year deal. It was a 1-year swap, pretty much. You get that Carmelo for 1 year, and you see where they can go with Carmelo, LeBron, and Isaiah Thomas. I do see that probably playing a part now because if you're gonna go on with a bang, that way you get Love's contract out the way because he's there for I think 2 more years after that.
Yeah.
And then you get his contract is gone. You get Carmelo for 1 year. Then his contract is up. Say they don't win the finals, then you can kind of blow it up. Try and get Isaiah Thomas to get him the max deal, and then get that draft pick from the Nets. Hopefully, it's a top 5 pick. But if things don't go their way, and oh my God, Cleveland's gonna be in trouble again for another decade, man. Because I don't see unless the draft picks are right, and they don't really get draft picks till I believe. 2019 is the next draft pick, the first round pick. I do believe. Like that. So they're going to be in tough trouble unless they can trade Love for, say, a Carmelo Anthony, or trade Love for draft picks. They trade Love for draft picks. You already know that LeBron is gone, so they might not do that. Yeah, they're not doing that. So they trade Love for Carmelo, because Carmelo did say before Kyrie left, he said that he'll take his no trade clause off for either the Rockets or the Cavaliers. But the Cavs kind of shut that down because they didn't have the money. So he said, I'll just do it for Houston. But now it's kind of tricky. You can do Love for Carmelo and then kind of make LeBron happy for this 1 year. Basically, is go big now or go home for this 1 year. I can see that happening.
Yeah, and that way, once again, you get all that access money off the books. And then
you got to get Dwayne Wade as well.
Yeah. It's been rumors that Dwayne Wade, is possibly, going to get bought out pretty soon. And I will say this: I do believe he'll get bought out at some point. I just don't know when. And his primary 2 destinations are, a reunion with Braun in Cleveland, or reunion back to the old stomping grounds in Miami. Now, honestly, you know me, I prefer the latter. Him going back to MIA and closing his career out there, or even going to Golden State. Man, I just don't want to see him get another L on that finals legend, man. If you gonna go somewhere, D-Wade, man, go where you can win it. And right now, that's the golden land. Yeah. But if he go to Cleveland, I mean, you know, with IT. You know, Braun already there, and like I said, either Kevin Love or, you know, they make this swap for Melo or somebody like that. You know, that's still a pretty interesting series against Boston, and you know, it would be somewhat interesting against Golden State. I don't know how well they'll fare against that. You know, maybe LeBron will go all out, you know, knowing it's going to be his last year in Cleveland. He might make things interesting single-handedly, you know, like he did a few years back. And you know, but I think the biggest thing for Cleveland is if they, you know, not focusing on LeBron, and you know, planning as if he's not going to be there. You know, get money off the books if you can. That way you can start building for a future if he does decide to, you know, hightail it out of there.
Right. Cleveland's best bet is to take advantage of the East not being good. They have to have home court advantage throughout. They have to have that mindset. We got to win every single game. That's their only bet to win against the Warriors or the Spurs or the Rockets, whoever they play in the NBA Finals. If they get there, the best bet is to have home court advantage throughout, and then you have the home court advantage in the Finals against the Western Conference team. So that's what it is. But I want to get back to Kyrie Irving for just a second.
Okay, good.
Danny Ainge skipped over Jimmy Butler. He skipped over Paul George. And I think the reason why he took Kyrie instead, because he said that although Paul George is pretty good, Jimmy Butler's pretty good, I think he believes that Kyrie Irving is a superstar in this league, in his mind. Because he had options to get Jimmy and Paul, but then chose Kyrie at the end. I think he believes that Kyrie is just that good when given the right amount of the right staff and the right players around him and the right system.
And you know what else, dude? Now that I think about it, to piggyback on what you're saying, it's pretty clear that they do believe in Kyrie after you put it that way, you know, passing up on Jimmy B and PG-13. But when you said that, a light bulb just went off. What Danny Ainge really just did was he pulled a Pat Riley. He took a disgruntled superstar, like you said, and now he's going to use that motivation to take down Cleveland. You see? Because Kyrie's whole biggest thing was, you know, he wanted to, you know, prove that he didn't have to, you know, dwell under LeBron's shoulder. And now what better way to prove that than to go to the conference's biggest rival in Boston, and now you got that matchup potentially in the conference finals. You got Kyrie versus LeBron. Now it's time for Kyrie to show the world what he was talking about back, you know, this summer.
Right.
And so I think that was clever for Danny Ainge to do that.
Right. It did. I was shocked because I thought that Cleveland would kind of get away from that. But that's more the LeBron factor, like get away from the East. You know, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, they weren't. If you played against each other in the Eastern Conference Finals the year before, you weren't swapping out point guards or shooting guards for each other. It wasn't going down. This day and age is a little different now. But with that being said, I thought the Cavaliers were going towards the West. You know, there was a deal for Phoenix, but Phoenix was getting Josh Jackson. There's a deal for Denver, but they weren't giving Murray. There's kind of a deal for Sacramento, but they really didn't have the great pieces of Sacramento. But I thought at the end of the day, they would kind of get suckered in for draft picks. But they realized we can't really rebuild for LeBron. So let's go get something right now to what we can get, which is in Boston. They got another piece back in Isaiah Thomas, which he's similar to Kyrie, not as good as Kyrie, but he's very similar in skill set. And then they get a 2018 first-round pick from the Nets. And I think they figure, you know what? We don't want Kyrie to make it to training camp, him around LeBron. It'll be very awkward. And I keep hearing rumors that Kyrie's a different kind of guy. He's very intelligent. but he thinks differently. And when you're the guy that's running away from LeBron James, you got some kahunas, man. And I want to rally around that guy. If you're the guy that's saying, I'm better than being LeBron James' sidekick, I want to be the man. I kind of want to rally around that because LeBron James is like a basketball god in this day and age of the NBA, and he's kind of the godfather, I might say. And you got this one defiant guy who is your teammate, who is a top 10 to 15 player in this league. He's leaving him. So if I'm a Celtics teammate, I'm gonna use his motivation, like you said with Danny Ainge, is using the motivation. And I'm rallying around that. And this could be a special season for the Boston Celtics. It could be.
It could be. It's nothing like a motivated, man. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's kind of like starting a new job. When you first get into that workplace, you want to show people, hey man, I deserve this. I'm here. I feel refreshed. You gonna give it your all. Now imagine that times 10. Now your rival is the team that traded you. Not that they traded him with bad intentions. He asked to be traded, but not knowing, not having any control on where he would end up. But I don't even recall Boston. Was Boston even on his radar of the four teams?
It was not. It was not. This is basically a let's help ourselves out trade, because if it was a LeBron, let's help out LeBron, I think they would have went more towards bringing Kyrie to the West, bottom West, so they would have to deal with the Kyrie Irving factor against LeBron James. But now they're like, let's help ourselves out. So they traded him to your rival in the East. So I think they're looking out for themselves, and they're like, you know what, LeBron, that's on you. If you want to leave, go ahead and leave, but we're not going to let you handcuff this organization like you did last time, having specials about where you're going, that kind of stuff. So they're going out, and I still do believe if, say they have a mediocre season in Cavaliers' term, they're at the All-Star break, they're probably 34-17, something like that. You know how they get. They be firing guys for no reason, but they're pretty. They realize this isn't working out. We're not going to beat the Warriors or the Spurs or whoever we face in the Western Conference Finals, or hell, even the Boston Celtics in the East. I think they trade Kevin Love for something minor, draft picks and like two minor guys, and because if they're going defiant with LeBron this early and the season hasn't even started, I can see them trading Love for draft picks. Or for better players or role players who are young. I can see that happening and say, LeBron, good luck with this team, and if you leave, that's on you. If you sign, that's on you. We don't care, but we're going to help ourselves out for the future. I can really see that happening now.
It would really be funny, one quick note, if the Boston Celtics went up, hired David Griffin and David Black. I think that would really be funny. That would
That would be awesome.
That would be like a dang, Jerry Springer event, man. I could just see it happening now, man. But we gonna shut it down a little bit, man. Unfortunately, I love to keep talking, but I feel like I done kept you up late enough. I know you got things to do. I got things to do, but it was a pleasure having you on here, man. Again, I look forward to working with you on your network. And I look forward to having you as a guest speaker. When you welcome anytime on this show, just say the word. Sometimes I be feeling like I be bombarding on people lives, so I don't like to bother people. But man, you're more than welcome to come join me anytime on this show, man. It was so good to do the show with you again, brother.
I told you, man. Anytime, man. Likewise, it's been a pleasure. It's home away from home. It's the LastWord podcast. I'm feeling it. I love it, and anytime you need me, man, I'm there for you, brother. And it was great talking to you.
All right, man. Y'all, this was The Last Word, man. We out. Peace.